You know, believe it or not, I actually hate making videos like this. And if you already know who this video is about because of the thumbnail, then you know that it's about Momokun. This Momokun. This. This or this. This Momokun. She's actually a not so great human being. Like, she's really not that great. Unless you've been living under a rock, Momokun has pretty much been the center of attention, but not for the right reasons that you would think. In fact, it's for the exact opposite. See, recently she was going to go to Anime Expo under this different company and present herself, but she's been accused of sexual harassment for the many years that she's been doing cosplay in this community. And of course, people responded and gave their own stories and experiences, as you can probably find from other videos. And it's gotten so bad that, to the point, people don't want anything to do with her. So in fact, she came out with a video. Now, I'll go ahead and play this video, but just keep in mind that this is in the year 2018. This is only a few weeks old. This is in the same year that Logan Paul went to a suicide forest and decided to film a dead body.
Hi there, my name is Mariah. I do cosplay on the internet, and recently some stuff has happened where I believe there's a response needed from me.
A response being needed is literally the first thing that people really want from you, Momokun. If you think about this in a kind of direct way, people demand a response from you. They want this closure and they want to know your side of the story. They want an apology for all of the people that you've wronged, all of the people that you've inappropriately touched over the years, all of the people that you've made fun of or made death threats to or told to kill themselves, which is part of the reason that your account got suspended on Twitter, which is why you haven't been so active.
Because there's a lot of people angry. And a lot of people saying a lot of crazy things right now. And I need to talk to you guys.
Now, my personal bias will be all over this video, so I do apologize in advance for that. But I will not apologize for the things that Momokun has done. You see, there are people that are saying a lot of things about her, but they aren't crazy when they're actually true. Like this statement from Grey Dog on Twitter that says, Momokun is a cancer to the cosplay community and to women in general. She regularly steals characters from popular shows and regular creators and makes changes to the design, which she doesn't, and then claims it to be her own creation. I can't support any place that features her.
I have always been an impulsive person, no matter what it's been, and it's gotten me into more trouble than I'd like to admit. I've been like that since I was a kid. I just act without thinking sometimes. I get excited, I get overwhelmed. That's just how I am as a person.
If that's how you are as a person, then you shouldn't be that person at all. Being impulsive can get you into a lot of trouble, very serious trouble, as you're beginning to find out. But as we all know, that probably won't be the case, as you probably won't suffer any repercussions other than people are going to say things about you on the internet, and it'll be harder for you to get a gig at any convention that you go to. We'll get into more reasons why I definitely don't have any kind of sympathy for you whatsoever as this video progresses. But for now, let's go ahead and get into the more retarded things that you're going to say, the more intricate things that you have to lay out on the line here.
Impulsive actions have never been met with malicious intent. I have never meant to ever be malicious with any action that I cause or that I do.
Meaning to be malicious in intent or in any action that you do isn't a shield from any type of criticism. That's like saying, well, I didn't mean to shoot him, officer. I just meant to graze him a little bit with the bullet, you know. I didn't mean to actually kill him. His family's really nice. Like, that's how you try to cop out of everything, is by saying that you weren't malicious in touching all of those people inappropriately. You weren't malicious in putting a megaphone up to somebody's vagina in the middle of a crowd. Like, what the hell is wrong with you?
I'm a very like loving person, and I really, really love people and genuinely care about people.
Yeah, you're definitely a loving person. You're definitely not telling people that they should kill themselves. You're definitely not.
But there's many times where I have mixed close friendships and my relationships and boundaries with people who are not close friendships and more so acquaintances. Within the last year, I've come to learn so much about what consent is and boundaries after entering the costume community or the nerd community, where everyone is very touchy and very like over exaggerated. Everything's really crazy.
No, you fucking idiot. It's not about people being touchy, especially at any anime convention or anywhere. People generally keep to themselves because they're responsible fucking adults. They don't ever just touch someone without knowing them, and if they do, then they should be reported to whoever's nearby or to the staff that's there or to security. They should do the same to you. This isn't something that you just go and do where you touch people on the butt or you grab them by the boobs or anything like that. If you're out here touching people, they're not consenting to that. And I hate to sound like some of the people on Twitter where they're just talking about consent is important, where you have to ask them, is a kiss here okay? Can I like touch your hand? Can I touch your forearm? Like, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that for every single body part. But what I'm saying is you should be okay with whoever you're with being able to touch, but not just random people. And learning now what is okay as far as consent goes, that ship is already sailed. Consent is important, but it's not the first thing you learn when you're just now starting out in the cosplay community or even going to anime conventions. Consent is something that you learn as a kid. Don't touch someone without them saying it's okay. Keep your hands to yourself. I'm sure you've heard that once before. I think that you might be impulsive, but that's about all that you are, and you've never gotten punished for it. And as we've seen from your reactions on Twitter from 2013 and 14, we see that you don't really get any discipline from a motherly figure, so who the hell knows what you really do?
I took some time for me to learn what is okay, what's not okay, like who you can do certain things with and who you can't do certain things with.
Lucky for me, while making this video, I was able to actually go to one of the first ever anime conventions in my life, and I was actually surprised at a lot of the things that I was able to see and experience while I went to one. And surprisingly to you, maybe, Momokun, just maybe you didn't know this, but people didn't get all over each other. They just kept their hands to themselves. And even when there was a rave going on, there were still people just taking their own time, keeping their own space, and having a good time by themselves. No one was touchy-feely. No one was overexcited. People were just having a good time, communicating with each other. And even after the rave, everybody went to the bar, and they all got drinks, and nothing bad ever happened. And everybody hugged each other that knew each other. And that was it. There was nothing else. Unless someone like you shows up, everything is fine. But as soon as you start to photobomb people or make outrageous things happen, like touching other people's boobs in dressing rooms or doing the megaphone thing, that's when everybody starts to have a bad time. That's when the problems start, is when you get there. That's what I don't understand. You always say that something like this is always happening at conventions where everything is high energy, but there is high energy. But people know how to conduct themselves much better than you. Even the people that I didn't think could handle themselves were able to do so with ease.
In many relationships with people, I've come to realize that I've touched people without their consent, not realizing that it is a form of sexual assault or sexual harassment. So from seeing this so much in my own friend group, I believed, this is okay, like messing around, playful, it's consensual, but I realize now that it's not. I realize that it's inappropriate behavior, whether it be playful or malicious, no matter what, it's inappropriate.
Wow, you found that out after all this time? Next you're gonna tell me that water is wet, aren't you?
To touch someone without their consent, there's no excuse. Don't touch anyone without their consent. As a woman, I should be leading by example and not participating in such problematic behaviors. Like at all.
Yeah, in your video, this isn't really so much as a laughing matter, but let's just get to the real meat and potatoes parts of this. This isn't you trying to represent women, this is you representing yourself. There are plenty of people out there that are capable of handling themselves in any type of situation. Women are able to handle themselves in a very certain way. They should be able to handle themselves and conduct themselves in public in a very ladylike way. As a man should be able to just be able to present themselves and act a certain way in public. They shouldn't be trying to do things that are inappropriate in public. Now, when you start using words like problematic, then you start to sound a little weird about it. But let's just be real. This isn't about gender. This is about you as an individual. This is about your actions. You need to stick up for yourself, not try to throw everybody else under the bus.
There is no excuse for my actions, whether it be ADHD, impulsiveness, or being a fucking idiot. There's no excuse.
Now, Momokun, you know that that's a lie. You don't have ADHD. You just picked the first thing that came up to your head and you said, yeah, ADHD works. Because people with ADHD in real life don't suffer the same things that you do. They don't need a whole list of other problems, including sexual harassment. They're not out here slapping people on the asses or pulling down their bras and tops down in public. They're regular functioning people. They just have a little bit of a different skew going on. I don't believe that you actually have ADHD. I just think that you did these things because you just were not taught right. I truly believe that. I just, for some reason, can't wrap my head around it because you just are such a moron.
Sometimes I fight back with my initial response to criticism or accusations or wrongdoings because I don't want to feel like I'm in the wrong. Like, no one wants to feel like they did wrong. But sometimes you gotta remove yourself, step back, and be like, you did wrong.
Your initial reaction was fucking trash, and you know it. You didn't try to take any of the blame. You just said, well, it was ADHD that made me act this way. And you never tried to make amends with anyone. You were just super upset that you weren't able to go to this convention. You didn't try to call out anyone and say, hey, I'm sorry I did this and I will fix this. You didn't try to even do a standard PR move or anything like that. That would have been even better of an apology than the one that you gave in this video and even in the last one that you uploaded. You have no self-awareness. And I think that's what's worse about you than anything else. I can deal with a lot of stupidity from big anime YouTubers, but by far I think you're the biggest moron I've ever encountered. Leaps and bounds.
My immediate response was impulsive and thoughtless. It wasn't really well educated at all. In no way does it excuse my actions in the slightest. I personally do not think I'm above criticism in any way. I've never felt that way about myself. I think it's the exact opposite. I think that a lot of what I do should be criticized and should be looked at thoroughly.
You know, the worst part is even in the face of adversity, she still has the energy to just smile and think about all the people that she's probably groped and, probably just pulled down their bras in public or, smacked on the ass or just touched all those people inappropriately. Gotta keep those spirits up somehow, because you get $15,000 a month from thirsty white knights on the internet. You gotta keep that money flowing in somehow.
I don't think I can say or do whatever I want. I think it's the exact opposite. I think I can't say or do whatever I want. I think I feel like a lot of what I do is looked at under a microscope, and I understand why it is. And I'm not mad about it at all.
You don't have the right to be mad about it anyways, because you're a public figure. And when you're making $15,000 a month on Patreon, you have to make choices. And when you're making those choices, you have to make sure what's best for your public image. And if you fuck around like you did this last time and you start blaming people and you start blaming ADHD because you wanted to try to horse around with people that you don't know, yeah, people are going to judge you under a microscope. I would be surprised, for lack of a better word. I would be absolutely astonished if people were just like, you know what, Momokun, you're just too great of a person. We don't need to worry about what you're doing out here in the public. I would be completely mesmerized. In fact, everything I do is under a microscope. I'm pretty sure someone's going to look up a video of me saying something completely unrelated and take it out of context. But with you, I mean, it's here on the internet for us all to see.
I know everything I say and or do will be discussed thoroughly, so I sometimes like freak out about what do I say, what's the right thing to say, what's the right thing to do, and I overthink myself and I kind of just put myself into a bigger hole and I just goof myself over and over again.
Can you see the pain in her eyes and her smile? Or is that just her making light of the situation? I know people have different coping mechanisms for these types of things that are happening with their lives, but this just seems like some kind of cop-out.
And because of this, I really need to learn from my mistakes and actions and move forward on this. I reached out to the girls that I disrespected or made feel uncomfortable, and I understand that I made them feel uncomfortable or unsafe when I should have been respectful and nothing but supportive.
But instead, you assassinated their character and said that they were lying because they just didn't like you, or that they were just, hating on you. That's a lowdown thing to say. And if I were them, if I were one of those people that you had just ran up to and grabbed their ass with, I wouldn't want to talk to you either. If they never wanted to talk to you ever again, I wouldn't blame them. In fact, I would be in the camp that says, Momokun, there's nothing nice I have left to say. Because all you've done is cause havoc in the cosplay community, and there's no place here for you. I mean, I don't speak for everyone in that cosplay community, but that's my entire take on it. There's no room for people like her, where they blatantly take costumes from the internet, have their friends alter it, just so ever slightly that it fits her, and then she wears it and parades around in it for $15,000 a month. And then they get photo sets, and you don't even see so much as a nipple slip. This is real life.
I apologize for my actions and promise to improve my behavior to them, and have spoken to a few of them behind the scenes, and that's why this video kind of took so long, because I wanted to talk to them first. And I am beyond thankful to the girls that have responded to me. If there's the other girls that haven't, I hold no ill will. I know that I wronged them, and they owe me no words.
At least you're good at taking some hints. But there's also a thing that I wanted to bring up too, and it's one of the things that you said on January 22nd. And I think it was pretty much in response to people responding to you before all of these allegations came out into the open. It was where you said, if you don't like me because I'm very popular for my cosplays, then that's sad and pathetic on your part, because I'm actually a very nice person and do a lot to help other people out. I don't know a person out there who can genuinely say they know me and think I'm a bitch, rude, or stuck up. I constantly support other people and share my fame with my friends and help others. It's quite comedic that people in the Vegas community are so full of hatred that they make up lies about me and try to put me down. Work on yourselves before you come at me is all I'm gonna say, LOL. Well, I think we already know how this all played out for you, don't we? All those haters, or those people that are calling you a bitch and rude and stuck up, pretty much know the truth now. I mean, we know the truth. Just look at your tweets. That's why you're not even around on Twitter. You're such an asshole to people, and you say that you're the nicest person ever. Like, you're not even nice to people on your Patreon, and they donate $500 a month to you. Excuse me?
It is on their own accord, and I understand completely. To the girls, to the fans, to anyone who might have felt affected or disappointed by my behaviors, I am sorry. And I understand words can only do so much. I should know better, and I will be better.
Saying something and doing something are two completely different things. So let's hear what you're going to do to remedy this situation. And because this video is coming out so late, because I have literally just been too wrapped up in a lot of real world stuff, we'll see what you say here, and then I'll tell you what you didn't do.
As a prominent member of the cosplay community, I owe it to my girls, my fans, my friends, and myself to be better than this. What I'm going to be doing now is I will be taking a small break away from cons to reflect and understand how I've affected this community and how I've affected people, and to allow people to heal from my wrongdoings. I think that is the best option, and it's what I believe. And you know, I understand I had a lot of cons planned these next 2 months, but I apologize. I'm going to be canceling them all. I really believe that I need to do this, and I really need to take time and step back.
Except you really didn't do that because you were still out doing a lot of things. I mean, you've been really active, like really active after this video was released. And let's just say none of those things were what you said in this clip. For starters, your break from cosplay was only for like 2 minutes because you were at Evo that weekend while you were just taking pictures and cosplaying. That's also, you could just be there. And I mean, this is even a tweet from 10 Lead, who there's a lot of stories about what I could talk about with this entire situation, but that's besides the point. Is that Momokun deleted her apology off of her Instagram, the one that she was talking about before, and even this one where she was talking about taking a break from cons. But that's so she could go to Evo. And in case that wasn't enough for you, she actually became a cam girl recently on Camversity, where she pretty much just asks people for money, but she doesn't really do anything not safe for work. She just talks about bullshit all day. And even this one tweet that I pulled this video from, which I have a link in the description below, she actually talks about people with depression and how they can pretty much get over it.
So my advice for like depression stuff is, as someone who like came from being very depressed and suicidal, it's really about growth and understanding you can't control everything, and that bad things happen sometimes, and you got to learn how to get over it, and that it's not just getting over it, it's like working through it and understanding that like bad things do happen. And you know, and I hate to say that you know, I hate the word where it's like, oh, other people have it worse than you, but like people do have it pretty bad. So like think about where you are and where you stand.
Yeah, not really the most appetizing thing you want to hear from somebody that gets way more money than you and does not know how depression works whatsoever. There's plenty of people out there with depression that would get real advice instead of listening to this, whatever you want to call her, insert word here. I mean, I have depression and none of that sounds any realistic whatsoever. There's counseling that you can go to. There's medication that you can take. I mean, always having a positive outlook is just not good enough, but there is a certain melody to it. You have to be in the right state of mind, and you have to keep doing more things to help yourself, but simply getting over it or looking over what people don't have or where you're at is not good enough. What a fucking idiot. And then she has the entire audacity to even say ADHD is the reason that she sexually harassed those people. Give me a fucking break. She's no better than just those people that always want to tell you that everything is all in your head and that they're never wrong. This is exactly who she is. Mariah Mallard is nobody important, and she was never anybody important. She's someone that whenever she hit the scene, I was no matter what interested in her. She's not pretty. She's not a nice person. And the fact that she even has to come out here and say these things or do these things to get more money on top of the $15,000 she has from Patreon each month is just completely disgusting. And I'm not telling anybody to not support her because each person is their own being. But there's a million other things you can spend money on. I mean, you could literally, put a nice down payment on a car for the money that she gets. For $15,000 a month, you could buy a brand new car. $15,000 a month, you could put that down payment on a nice house, somewhere that you want to. Not pay for Mariah Mallard to sexually harass people at conventions, not to promise you pictures that you're gonna hopefully see a nip slip or that you're going to see photoshopped images of her. It's just awful, and it's not tantalizing either, especially when she's on social media blocking comments and deleting them, not talking to any of the cosplayers that she has wronged and attempting to talk to, when she's still out doing these things even after the fact. This is more than I needed to talk at this point, and there's still more to the video if you want to check out the rest of whatever she says, where she has this weird camera stoppage thing and she has to keep going to pretty much prove her point. But I mean, at this point, you don't really miss anything. There's nothing that you'll miss. There's nothing of importance that she can really say unless you want to look at more videos which other YouTubers have done. They probably have a little bit more information, and they probably have some even deeper facts than I even have. But that's about all I really have for this. And sorry this video took so long. Like I said, a lot of real world stuff happens, so I just really gotta be on my toes. But I am making more videos, and hopefully I can get some more done for you guys. And to my patrons, I will have something very special for you here soon. Another post that's coming out. And don't worry, it'll be worth it. And it'll probably be the last Patreon exclusive post I have. So I hope that you guys just take it easy, do some deep breathing, and we'll just do the next video. So I'll talk to you guys in another one.